Welcome back to the Football Player Exchange, your daily market report on the world of football transfers. We have a very busy day of trading to cover, so let's get straight to it.
Okay, let's dive right in. The date is March 31st, 2026, and you can already feel the market is absolutely buzzing with speculation. Clubs are starting to position themselves for that massive summer window. We're on top of all the chatter, the big money targets, and the potential deals that could seriously shape next season.
So, first up, we're starting with the blue chip targets. You know what I'm talking about? These are the premium assets, the players Europe's biggest clubs are willing to completely break the bank for. And believe me, the first name on our list is a big one. Kicking things off, we're looking at Real Madrid's midfield portfolio. Their strategy is crystal clear. Manchester City's anchor, Rodri, is the #1 target. I mean, he's the kind of midfield general they build dynasties around. But, and this is smart, they are not putting all their eggs in one basket. They've got two high-quality Premier League alternatives lined up, Chelsea's World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez and the rising star from Crystal Palace, Adam Wharton, who kind of represents a longer-term investment.
So what's the asking price for a player of Rodri's caliber? Well, the number being thrown around is £50 million. And get this, that's the figure it'll apparently take just to get Manchester City to even answer the phone. That's a premium price for a player who is, let's be honest, arguably the best in the world at what he does.
Now let's shift our focus over to Real's biggest rivals. Barcelona has identified their #1 priority for the summer, and it is another Argentinian star, Atletico Madrid's super versatile forward, Julian Alvarez. His work rate, his ability to play anywhere across that front line, it just makes him a perfect fit for their system. This would be a major statement signing if they can actually pull it off. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the Premier League exchanges, because as always, the English market is just a hotbed of activity, right? We're talking high-volume trading and some really intense competition for talent.
And speaking of competition, a major battle is brewing for Barcelona's Ferran Torres. We're hearing both Manchester United and Arsenal are really keen on bringing the Spanish international back to the Premier League. You know, his experience in England makes him a lower-risk bet for both of them, which is setting up what could be one of the summer's biggest transfer sagas. All right, now for some market signals coming out of Newcastle, and we're starting with some bullish news for the Magpies. It's looking more and more likely that midfielder Sandro Tonali is going to be staying at the club. The intel suggests that the Serie A clubs who are sniffing around just won't be able to afford the 25-year-old. That is a major boost for their midfield stability.
However, it's not all good news up there. The market is also sending a bit of a bearish signal when it comes to defender Tino Livramento. Contract talks have reportedly stalled, and, well, that development just opens the door for a potential summer exit. Definitely one to watch. You know, this market is so interconnected, and you can really see it with what Chelsea and Liverpool are doing. They're moving on multiple fronts here. For starters, they're both after the same guy. They're the frontrunners from Monaco's exciting midfielder Lamine Camara. But at the same time, they're pursuing their own deals. Chelsea is being linked with a potential return for Nathan Ake, get some proven defensive cover, while Liverpool faces a real fight with Bayern Munich for the sheer physicality of Maxence Lacroix. Okay, let's broaden our scope with our Continental Market Watch. We're going to zoom in on some key movements happening in Serie A, where the Italian clubs are actively scouting for opportunities in other leagues, and they seem to be looking for value in the Premier League in particular. So here's a quick scouting report for you. Juventus has their eyes on Manchester United's tough-tackling midfielder Manuel Ugarte, probably looking to add some real steel to their spine. Meanwhile, Bologna is reportedly looking at a summer move for striker Lorenzo Luca from Nottingham Forest, searching for that physical presence to lead their line. Two pretty interesting Premier League to Serie A links there. And that just about brings us to the end of today's trading. It is time for the closing bell, where we're going to summarize the key market movers and the big takeaways from today's analysis. So let's recap today's top market movers. Real Madrid's high-stakes midfield search is really intensifying, with that £50 million price tag now on Rodri. Newcastle is dealing with some mixed signals. Good news on Tonali, but a lot of uncertainty over Livramento. And finally, the Premier League giants are already locking horns for top talent like Torres and Camara, setting the stage for some huge summer battles. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Looking at all these potential deals, which ones do you think represent a smart long-term investment, and which ones just feel like an overinflated market bubble just waiting to burst? Definitely something to think about as that summer window gets closer and closer.